to be reading the word this morning. I hope that you are hearing. I hope that it is clear. I haven't done a live in a good while, actually. But before I get into reading the word, I'm going to share with you how the word came, right? Now, yesterday, let me come a bit forward. Here we go. Yesterday, so I've been having a lot of headaches, like some serious headache. I have been having, but I know the cause, so sometimes when it gets too much, I'll pray and really just ask God to help. But I was at class yesterday, and I kid you not, in the middle of class, there was a Gideon Bible that was on the teacher's desk, and I just opened the Bible. I took it up. My other classmates would have been around me at the time. I took up the Bible, I opened the Bible, and it opened to Isaiah 8. Now, whilst I was reading the Bible, they were doing some practicals. Practicals were going on in the class, so it's an active class. I actually videoed it. I took a snapshot of it because I know a lot of persons are going to say, oh, whatever. So I took a snapshot. I'll probably put it up and do a pre-recording and then upload it so persons can see it. But I began to read, and I continued to read, and I read 8 and I read 9. And there were persons that were standing around me, and I'm certain that they're wondering what's going on, like. And then class ended and persons were going out, and I closed the Bible and I left. But whilst I was walking down, it kept coming back to me to share the word. Not to prophesy, not to preach, not to encourage, but to share the word. And this is the word of the Lord. Isaiah chapters 8 and 9. Moreover, the Lord said to me, take a large scroll and write on it with a man's pen concerning Maher Shahal Hashbaz. And I will take for myself faithful witness to record Uriah the priest and Zechariah the son of Zebuchiah, I believe. And then I went to the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. And the Lord said to me, call his name Maher Shahal Hashbaz. For before the child shall have knowledge to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria will be taken away before the king of Assyria. And the Lord also spoke to me again, saying, inasmuch as these people refuse the water of Shiloh that flows softly and rejoice in Rezin and in Mahaliah's son, know therefore, behold, the Lord brings up over them the waters of the river, strong and mighty. The king of Assyria and all his glory, he will go up over all his channels and go over all his banks. He will pass through Judah. He will overflow and pass over. He will reach up to the neck, and the stretching out of his wings will fill the breadth of your land, O Emmanuel. Be scattered, O you peoples. Be broken into pieces. Give ear, all you from far countries. Gird yourselves. but be broken into pieces. Gird yourselves, but be broken into pieces. Take counsel together, but it will come to nothing. Speak the word, but it will not stand, for God is with us. For the Lord spoke thus to me with a strong hand and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, do not say a conspiracy concerning all that this people call a conspiracy, nor be afraid of their threats, nor be troubled. The Lord of hosts, him you shall hallow. Let him be your fear, let him be your dread. He will be as a sanctuary, but a stone of stubble and a rock, of all offense to both the house of Israel, as a trap and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble, they shall fall and be broken, be snared and taken. Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. And I will wait on the Lord who hides his face from the house of Jacob, and I will hope in him. Here am I and the children of whom the Lord has given me. We are for signs and wonders in Israel from the Lord of hosts who dwells in Mount Zion. And when they say to you, seek those who are mediums and wizards who whispers and mutter, should not a people seek their God? Should they seek the dead on the behalf of the living? To the law and to the testimony, if they do not speak according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. They will pass through it hard pressed and hungry, and it shall happen when they are hungry that they will be enraged and curse their king and their God, and look upward. Then they will look to the earth and see trouble and see darkness, gloom of anguish, and they will be driven into darkness. Nevertheless, the gloom will not be upon her who is distressed, as when at first he lightly esteemed the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterwards more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea beyond Jordan in Galilee of the Gentiles. The people who walk in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them a light has shined. You have multiplied the nation and increased its joy. They rejoice before you according to the joy of harvest, as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For you have broken the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressors, as in the day of Midian. For every warrior's sandal from the noisy battles and garments rolled in blood will be used for burning and fuel of fire. For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Hallelujah, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end, upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and justice from that time forward, even forevermore. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. The Lord sent a word against Jacob, and it has fallen on Israel. All the people will know, Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria, who say in pride and arrogance of heart, the bricks have fallen down, but we will rebuild with hewn stone. Sycamores are cut down, but we will replace them with cedars. Therefore the Lord shall set up the adversity of Rezin against him, and spur his enemies on. The Syrians before, and the Palestines behind, and they shall devour Israel with an open mouth. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For the people do not turn to him who strikes them, nor do they seek the Lord of hosts. Therefore the Lord will cut off the head and the tail from Israel, palm branch and bustles in one day. The elder and the honorable, he is the head. The prophet who teaches lies, he is the tail. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and those who are led by them are destroyed. Therefore the Lord will have no joy in their young men, nor have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For everyone is a hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaks folly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For the wickedness burns as the fire, it shall devour the birds and the thorns, and kindles in the thickets of the forest. They shall mount up like rising smoke. Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts the land is burned up, and the people shall be as fuel for the fire. No man shall spare his brother. And he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall devour on the left hand and not be satisfied. Every man shall eat the flesh of his own arm. Manasseh shall devour Ephraim, and Ephraim Manasseh, together they shall be against Judah. And for all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is outstretched still. This is the word of the Lord, and I honor it by saying, thanks be to God.